I'm Shachar Azani, and in the news, an Israeli Tahini factory and the fight for LGBTQ rights in Israel. Last week here on JBS, we reported about Tahini becoming the unlikely subject of a dispute over LGBTQ rights of Arab Israelis. Al-Arz, an Israeli Arab company which produces locally rather popular tahini, announced last week that it would start funding a hotline for LGBTQ Arab Israeli youth through the Israeli group called the Aguda, the Association for LGBTQ Equality in Israel. Sadly, Arab Israeli homophobic calls for a boycott ensued alongside expressions of support from Arab Israeli pro-LGBTQ rights in many sectors within Israeli society. To hear more about this fascinating story from Israel, we go now to Modi'in to speak with Galit Peleg. Hi Galit, how are you?
Hi, how are you, Shachar?
Galit, a few words about you. Galit is a senior diplomat at the Israeli Foreign Ministry, where she has served for many years. Born in Haifa, then studied at Hebrew U, International Relations and Islam and Middle East Studies, if you're wondering. When her friends chose to travel to India and South America, like so many Israelis do, Galit decided to take her big trip to nowhere else than the United States of America. And she visited 34 states in 6 months. She joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in 1998. After training as a cadet, she was sent to Morocco, served in Serbia, as well as Israel's mission to the European Union in Brussels, Belgium. Her latest post was Consul for Public Diplomacy right here in New York City. And as of next week, she will assume position as Interim Consul General of Israel in Miami for the next few months. Galit, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you? Very excited.
Great to have you with us. Let me ask you, just for the benefit of our viewers, the story we're dealing with here is Tahini and LGBTQ rights of Arab Israelis. Why am I speaking to an Israeli diplomat from the Foreign Ministry?
First of all, tahini for me personally is a very, very important part of my meals, my regime. I like tahini with everything. So this is from a personal point of view. But to tell you the truth, when I first heard that this specific company was boycotted, I don't like boycotts, first of all. You know, as Israeli diplomats, we always fight against boycotting Israel, boycotting Israeli businesses. And when you hear that an Israeli business is being boycotted from within a sector that is a part of Israel, and the first thing that I thought was that this shouldn't happen. Now, this,
let me stop you there for a minute. Since returning to Israel from your post in New York, you are serving at the Israeli Foreign Ministry's headquarters in Jerusalem.
Yes.
And as you are going about your daily work, which I can imagine does not deal with internal Israeli society, but rather looking out, you suddenly hear about this story on the news?
Right. And in my everyday life, at the ministry, I'm dealing with the Balkans at the moment. But, you know, you read papers, you watch TV, you see what's going on. And this specific company is very close to my heart for a specific reason. When I met the owner of Al-Arz, Mrs. Julia Zayel, I met her in New York, by the way, when they started distributing their products in North America and South America. I heard her amazing story, and I learned about women empowerment and entrepreneurship, and everything that we like to show as flags of the Israeli society, diversity. They're coming. It's a family business from the Arab sector. From Nazareth, and struggling and becoming one of the major food companies in Israel. And to hear that they're being boycotted by the Arab sector for helping people in their own society, that really, I thought, well, I cannot sit quiet and do nothing.
Wait, did you hear about this? What propelled them, from your acquaintance? What made them come out with this pledge to support Arab Israeli LGBTQ youth?
I think that the way that they're working, this company is they're always giving back to the society. Since Julia herself became a very important industrial figure in Israel and like a role model for business women and for Arab business women, and became a mentor for young women that want to be important or successful business women, she understood that you don't only making it for the money, but you also give back. And this company, it's not the first time that they're donating to social causes, mainly in the Arab sector, but not only. This time, they maybe went a little bit one step too far in terms of, traditional thought and conservative, and they thought that, and I mean, actually, they touched a very important issue in the Israeli society, because on one hand, we know, in New York, Israel is always present in the Pride Parade. We are very very present, and everybody can see that we are very active. Tel Aviv is kind of a capital for the LGBT community. And then you have the Arab sector that is more conservative. And when you have LGBTQ young people that they need someone to talk to, they usually go to the Jewish part or to Tel Aviv. And what they did is that they donated to create a hotline for young people who are confused and they need someone to talk to. And it's a very, very important cause. So when I heard that, now the people that are more traditional conservative in their sector decided to boycott them. Some of the local chains, they told them, we're taking off your products from the
Literally,
shelf.
they took off their product off the
Yes.
shelves as a result?
Yes. So when I heard that, I thought, I'm not a big supermarket chain. I don't have capacity to buy, a lot of stuff, but I can do something that will be more as a statement, and maybe something that will have more impact by but the buzz that we can create. So what I did, I addressed my
Wait,
my
before what you did, I want to tie it into your experience in New York. I know that the story itself of the internal boycott against the Tahini factory got some resonance, but the story you're actually telling us is an incredible story of integration of an Israeli Arab factory and family
right,
that is integrated into Israeli society,
right,
that is giving back to the community, that supports progressive causes within society in a rather traditional Arab-Israeli society. We just saw a video today on social media of young Israeli Arabs who appear to be LGBTQ are being beaten at the Jaffa port. So in that reality, we have this beautiful story, but it only emerges on the news when there is such a boycott.
This is one of our biggest challenges in the news or in the media in general, as you very well know. I think that when you represent something, you have to believe in it. I'm not, I'm not presenter of, a fashion group that today I wear their clothes and tomorrow I wear somebody else's clothes. My product, I'm the presenter of the State of Israel. If I don't believe in the State of Israel, I wouldn't be in this position. So when in New York, I talk about or I stress these principles that I'm very proud of in Israel. So when something like that happens in Israel, I feel that I have to stand up and continue that. And that's why I thought that to call my fellows diplomats would be effective because we usually represent Israel and we stand for these values. And here's a company that's actually is doing practically what we are talking about.
So you see that story, and even though that's not in any professional capacity your business, You
No.
decide to follow your principles and your creed, and you reach out to your fellow diplomats in the ministry and ask them what? What did you ask?
I told them let's buy an amount of tahini just to make a statement. I know that we are not going to buy tons of tahini, but if each and every one of us will buy some, then we can create a buzz and we can make a statement and say, we support you because of your values, because of what you contribute to the Israeli society. We represent the Israeli society, and you are the Israeli society. Also, I know it sounds like a pan when I say this is a company that we are proud to be proud of, and they are contributing to the pride, community. But yes, I mean, if we are talking about it, and if I use this company as an example of a company that is very sensitive to diversity and is very successful as a minority, so when they need me, I'm willing to do whatever needed with my capacity, of course, to sound my support to them.
And what was the reaction?
So I have to say that it happened on a Friday night. I just wrote. We have a closed group on Facebook of all the employees of the ministry. It's not a big ministry, and I wrote a post, a little long, but I said, listen, you have to please read all of it to the end. And I thought, I think I published it around midnight, and I thought nobody's going to react. But by the morning, I saw reactions of hundreds of people saying, I'm in. Where do I sign? How much do I have to order? And what I did, I called the owner, Julia, and I said, first of all, I want to tell you that now that I have a few hundreds of people behind me, I can tell you that we want to tell you that be strong and don't give up because you're great. And we are very proud of you. As representatives of Israel, we're very proud of you. And the other thing is that we want to buy because we want to show that we put our money where our, where our mouth is.
But Galit, where is the apartheid? Where is the animosity? You, an Israeli Jewish diplomat, calling an Arab Israeli woman, and you're not fighting?
I think that she is one of the women that is a role model for many, and also for me. Where's the apartheid? I don't know. Maybe ask those people that like to use it.
On the pages, on the op-ed pages of main media outlets, I imagine.
Exactly. I think that she and this company is exactly showing that when you concentrate on the right things and you don't look for what is wrong, you get where you want to get. I mean, an industrialist that is a woman in a minority that traditionally her own culture, in her own culture is very difficult to break the glass ceiling for a woman. She showed everybody that if you're a good businesswoman, you're a good businesswoman.
It can
it doesn't matter what your religion is or your ethnic origin or your last name.
Galit, let's take a moment to talk about and reflect.
I just want to say that I have to comment to my colleagues that eventually we bought. You will have to translate it to pounds, but we bought more than a half of a ton. So it's like about, I would say 1,200 pounds of tahini, only by employees of the ministry. And I know it's not like a Trader Joe that buys.
Well, they always said that diplomacy is nourishing the soul.
But this is the only, you know what? Now, even if we don't have anything to eat, we can eat tahini. We can make cookies of it. We can put it in salads. We could put it on the side. And
Galit, tell me, I want to pause you for a minute and maybe take this story and talk about the greater picture of your work in public diplomacy for Israel. Some of the highlights of your work here during your term, your highly remembered term as Consul for Public Diplomacy here in New York. What are some of the activities you are most proud of that are memorable, and also the way they reflect, as you say, your values personally and the values of the State of Israel in general?
if I reflect on my work in New York, I mean, automatically I would think that the biggest thing was the 70th anniversary of Israel that we celebrated in Times Square. And when I say we, I'm talking about tens of thousands of people that came to the square. And it was like when I suggested it five months before we did it, everybody told me, you're nice, but you're a little crazy. And nobody believed me. And the fact that with a lot of good people, we made it come true. And I saw some people, some Israelis, some Jews, so happy dancing, you know, in the street. It reminded me a little bit, I don't want to go too far, but it reminded me of 29th of November, when people started dancing in the street, you know, without planning it. And when I saw people dancing, because the event that we did was really amazing. I mean, showing Israel achievements on the screens of the center of the world. I mean, today I know it's a little bit sad to walk in Times Square.
No, but holding on to those memories, Galit, I'm sure all of us remember the times when we could congregate together in Times Square. And I personally will never forget your picture on that stage with the flag of Israel and the masses behind you.
Yeah, so just imagine if I would have, if somebody would have told me that I would stand on the stage with the flag of Israel behind me, 50,000 people singing Atikva. I would think that these people are crazy, even though usually I believe in what I say or what I promise. So this was really a dream come true that it's a once in a lifetime. But there are...
What about some of the other activities that you spearheaded with regards to social justice and helping people in need?
Right. So there are a lot of things that we did in my time of 4 years in New York that didn't always get to everybody, but sometimes we did things that were only for the heart. Every year, my staff, my department went to volunteer, and once it was in a children's hospital, and 1 year we went, 2 years actually, we went to soup kitchen, and I mean, we did stuff like that. But so about that, we didn't publish it too much. It was really, you know, when you live in a city and you're a guest, you feel that you need to give something back. On the year of Hurricane Maria, that was horrible, and there were it was 2 years ago. With other disasters, we organized in my department, in our building of the consulate, we donated blood. It was something that the guys from Red Cross were amazed.
Did you do it because you received orders from Jerusalem to do so?
Not at all.
Did you go to soup kitchen because that was the instruction from Israel?
Not at all.
And why did you?
Because I thought that we live in a city that needs something now, and we cannot give, you know, billions of dollars. What we can do is what we can give from the heart. Literally, in this case, donating blood is giving from the heart. I can tell you that in other occasion, last year, we organized the event of the 100 Halas for Giving Back Tuesday. We brought 50 women to the consulate, women from all walks of life. There was the editor of the Tribeca Film Festival, and there were editors from New York Times, and there were commissioners from NYPD and FDNY, and people really from women from all walks of life, 50 women, and they were taught to make a Jewish challah, and we made together and explained what is the meaning of giving bread. And we donated all these bread. Each one of them made 3 challahs. One they took home, and 2 they donated. And we donated 100 challahs to a soup kitchen in Bronx. And it was, it's things that I think when you go to a soup kitchen, you don't expect to have these sweet challah and people tell you this bread was baked for you from the Israelis. I think it leaves something in the heart. So there are a lot of events that we did from the consulate to the community.
So I hear you, and I think that our viewers hear you. And this is a very important message to understand in more than just a mere activity, because what you're telling us through your story about Al Arz Tahini and through the work you did here in New York, and I'm sure in many other places around the world, is the projection of your personal values and Israel's values onto your daily lives, not because you received orders from Jerusalem, but because you care and because of your perception as part of the community. I can tell you that personally, I remember many a time when we went either from the consulate in LA or the embassy in Nairobi and helped out in orphanages and gave out clothes and participated in activities on the weekends, not to gain any kind of media attention, which we didn't. It was just about being, as we say, a mensch, a ben adam, which lights the way in how we go. Did you feel the same kind of passion in all of the other places you served, including the what I call the ultra-Zionist colony of Brussels?
In Brussels, my job was a little different. It was very much political. It was very much lobbying. So I did, but not as much. But in Serbia, for example, when I was in Serbia, I was deputy ambassador in Serbia, and I decided that the embassy will adopt an orphanage that is it's a kind of a complex of it's an educational center from birth to 7th grade. So the thing is, and I will give you an example what we did there, but I want to say that what I did in New York and I did there, it's the same in the sense that it doesn't depend on the budget that you have. You don't need budget. You need to have a heart, and you need to have a brain for creativity.
Brain for creativity, also known as Israeli resilience and resourcefulness.
Exactly. Because in Serbia, for example, since this institute started from birth, so we used to go and, in Israel, there is this organization that it's called To Hug a Baby. So we went to this orphanage, and the babies are born, and the nurses are taking care of them and everything is okay, but they don't have parents, and a baby needs a hug. So we used to go there just to hug for a few hours a baby, and that was for the babies. For the younger, once we organized, I just got from someone, we had bags for school. So we organized an event for children that are going to 1st grade. They don't go with their parents, very excited to buy their Spider-Man bag or what's the name? All the Disney figures and,
right.
They don't have that. The institute buys them, everybody the same bag. So what we did, we took some different colors, and each kid we organized a ceremony for them. And I'm sure that every kid now, they should be in their 20s, because I was there 15 years ago. I'm sure that the kid remembers who gave him his first bag, school bag, to go to school. I wanted to tell you about just a small example of what he did in New York with no money, no budget. Sometimes it's also coming from the creativity is coming from what you have in your under your hand. I had a guy that was an intern that was in the United States for a soccer scholarship, and he came to become to be an intern in the consulate. So I told him, let's use your skills, and together with the JCRC, we find a nice school in the Queens, and we organized a football workshop. He taught them football, but we talked about how everybody has a place in the society, and if somebody is better in this, so you don't make fun of him, you use his strength. And we had the kind of a social workshop, and I'm pretty sure, and then we gave them a T-shirt that's written, we're all number one, and it's from Israel. And imagine 120 kids in the Bronx going home with a T-shirt from Israel, I'm number one, and they tell their parents. And I think it's and we didn't, we didn't publish it on, we didn't bring the media to that, but I'm sure that these kids carry with them this workshop, because it wasn't just take a ball and play. It was about messages, social values that we believe as Jews, as Israelis, and how to, to take the best of everyone.
And change the world one step, one person at a time. I'd like to thank you so much, Galit, for joining us today.
Thank you very much. I just want to say one thing regarding the future. Since next week I'm going to Miami. I'm very excited to come back to America this time, because it's very exciting. I'm not very happy about the COVID-19, and not in Florida, not in New York, and I wish everybody good health. But it is exciting because it's pre-elections, and I think that there are a lot of changes that are happening also in the Jewish Federation, in the Jewish community in the US, and I'm very happy to come back and take part of it. We'll probably hear from each other.
I'm counting on it, and we're counting on it here at JBS, Galit. Thank you so much. He who saves a life saves a world entire. Thank you for sharing with us the inspiration that is your work, both in Israel, here in New York, and around the world. And good luck, as we have so much to look forward to as you embark on your mission in Miami. In this time and age, it seems like no news like good news. And it's ever so important to remember all that there is more to Israel than just the conflict with the Palestinians. And even though Israel is far from perfect, which country really is? Which one doesn't face challenges or problems? Our conversation today allowed us to take a deep look at solutions and how individuals can truly make a difference in the life of a nation. Truly a lesson for us all. Thank you all for joining us. Stay safe, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay happy in this special summer we are experiencing. I'd like to thank our director, Sloan Copeland, JBS's managing director, Dara Golob, our technical manager, Michael Paley, transmission manager, John McDevitt, and to our wonderful producer of In the News, Carol Lilienthal. For JBS, I'm Shachar Azani. Until next time, see you soon, and lehitraot.